In 1990, the American with Disabilities Act was passed. And of course in 1990, there weren't many people going around looking at company websites. But fast forward to 2020, and wouldn't you know it that there's a lot of lawyers out there who are using the American with Disabilities Act as a sort of a weapon to basically file lawsuits against website businesses and website owners. So website accessibility has become a hot topic, and it was sort of already a hot topic, but I think just because we have this flurry of legal activity, this flurry of lawsuits, it's one of the more common questions we'll receive is, well, what does it mean to make my website ADA compliant? And how do I what can I do to make my website more accessible for maybe people who have disabilities or for people who are visually impaired? And how do I not get sued? All those are really good questions. And unfortunately, this is one of those topics that's just messy. It's the wild, wild west of the internet because the laws which govern this topic are dating back to 1990. There are no current laws as of 2020 that speak directly to modern websites or even website, and there's no list for a web developer to refer to say, okay, this is what it means for a website to be compliant. So if you are a business owner or if you are administrator or manager of a website and you want to basically protect yourself, there's several things you can do. One of them is to recognize or at least acknowledge it is a problem. People who access the internet don't always have perfect vision, and a lot of people who are disabled do navigate websites, and a lot of times those websites are important. Think of all the stuff we do on a daily basis online, and you realize it is important for people with disabilities to perform functions on websites. Now, especially if your website provides an important or vital service, I think it is important to recognize the human aspect of this and to do your best job to make your website accessible and a friendly and usable experience for people with disabilities, people who may be visually impaired. And there's several things you can do to improve the user experience. I'm not going to get into all the details, but as you can imagine, someone who's visually impaired may be using a screen reader and may be relying on audio to sort of digest your website. If you have a WordPress website, there's some things you can do to quickly get your website. I'm not going to say compliant because no one really can say what compliancy means, but I will say there are some WordPress plugins which can improve the usability of your website. And the nice thing about these plugins is that they also, I think, indicate to people who might be looking for prospective businesses to sue that, okay, this is a business that's taken the time to maybe consider accessibility, and they're at least making an attempt to make their website accessible. So adding some of these accessibility WordPress plugins can be like a quick way to get your website improved. You might also take the time to write out a legal statement, sort of a statement of website compliance with respect to those who are disabled. Sometimes you'll see these links at the bottom of a website. It's very common you'll see a privacy policy, or sometimes you'll see a sitemap or a legal disclaimer link at the bottom of a website. But more and more we're starting to see a notice of accessibility. And this might be another way that you can be proactive in terms of managing or hopefully preventing lawsuits that may come your way. So if you are concerned about accessibility, whether you're more concerned about getting sued or you're more concerned about the human aspect of it, we're definitely in a position to help you. We'd love to have a conversation with you about how your website could be a better service to maybe those who are disabled. And if you have unfortunately received a letter from an attorney who's filing on behalf of a plaintiff saying that your website is it's not accessible and we're suing you, we can we'll have that conversation with you. It's an unfortunate conversation, but we can work with you to try to amend your website and respond to your lawsuit.